All right, fellas, look, it's been a really great season so far. Just one more game left. National League Championship Grand Final. Look, we've been the best team in this by far this season. Teams been slipping up left, right, centre. It's been a mess apart from us. Let's just do like we did in the Chatham Cup final, not stuff things up, win this, and complete a perfect season trophy-wise, boys. Let's do it. Come on. I need more trophies, all of them.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 117 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical, and coming up today, it's the final episode in 2035. We play the National Championship Grand Final against Western Suburbs, so if you're looking forward to that as well as hopefully an end of season review, and as you can see on screen, this year's youth intake, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but this youth intake came through pretty much immediately off the back of the two games that we did play in yesterday's episode with the All Whites against Ghana and Senegal. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Two draws, so if you haven't clicked on it yet, there you go. They weren't the most exciting games, but we'd actually managed to make our way up to 30th in the world, and also quite a few Cashmere Tech results, which we did run through as well. So we actually made our way into the top 30 by the end of 2035. But first up today, got this year's youth intake at Cashmere Tech. Now, to be fair, I think last year's was a lot better with Harrison and Debenham in particular, but this year, some handy enough players with 3-star potential that will probably sign the likes of Chris Carroll, who is a deep-lying playmaker, not too familiar as a defensive midfielder, which we usually use here at Cashmere Tech, but does look like a handy player. The same applies to Deng Honji, who is a target forward striker, but we usually do use a pressing forward. Also, some players who might end up being decent potential squad players for us in the future here at Cashmere Tech. Lawson Dunleavy, who is a central defender, 1.82 metres tall, very aggressive at a young age. He'd be an angry boy. And also a defensive right winger. We'll train that out of him in Jotner. Another quite aggressive boy, but to be fair, he isn't the best at tackling, so I'm not too sure if defensive winger is actually his best position. But those are the players with 3-star potential. We'll probably sign those other ones with 2.5-star potential as well. And Jonathan Graham, another striker. And to be fair, his finishing pretty good already at only 16 years old. And the other player will probably sign another right back in David McGregor. Good bravery and teamwork. They will make sure we load up on right backs here from our youth intakes the last couple of seasons at Cashmere Tech. But unfortunately, no standouts like last season with Harrison Debenham, but it's a solid youth intake, albeit not too sure if many of them will see too much game time in the first team. But going forward from that, we have just played one game off the back of yesterday's episode with Cashmere Tech. There was absolutely nothing wrong on this. We were already locked into the Championship Grand Final against Western Suburbs, but we did play Christchurch United and picked up a 5-3 win. Really good first half from us in this game. We were 4-1 up at half-time. Unfortunately, yet again to these guys did lose the second half. That's become a bit of a concern here at Cashmere Tech in a couple of our recent performances over the last month or so. I think that also happened against Auckland City and Western Suburbs, and also I think the last time we took on Christchurch United before the National League Championship, that was the case as well in that 6-3 win, but a 5-3 win there. Doubles to Ezra Zumas and Lorenzo Janssen, and also Sam Clark with a really good goal. Unfortunately, Fok Wing Pong got a double, to be fair. Brilliant name, but he did leave it late. And also Robert Dotti, he scored a goal, so 5-3. That's not the best result, but to be fair, did give anyone on a yellow card or a bit tight off back of that previous international window a bit of a rest in that game. We still picked up a result, which does mean we are going for a perfect season in this National League Championship Grand Final, and we take on Western Suburbs, who we beat not too long ago, 3-2 to be fair. That was a lot closer than a couple of days ago when you did see us beat them 4-0 in the Chatham Cup Final. So it is a team we are already quite familiar with here this season at Cashmere Tech. As you can see there, 2 wins off the back of that win that we picked up against them a couple of games ago there in the National League Championship, albeit they're only just scraping by with those wins they have picked up over Christchurch, the Wellington Phoenix Reserves, and Manurewa. So hopefully we can do something similar here, what we did against them in that Chatham Cup Final. In terms of our squad going into this game, thankfully, absolutely no first team injury concerns. It does mean we can put out pretty much our best 11 going in to this game, and also plenty of under 20 players that we can call upon from the bench. I say plenty. Already got 3 in our first team, and Mitchell Clout, he will be on the bench just to make sure if a couple of them do struggle, we should be okay for that quota, and we'll come back and hopefully lift yet another National League title as we take on Western Suburbs in the grand final. And here are the team sheets for this 2035 National League Grand Final, where we do shoot for a perfect season. And as we said before, we are at full strength there. Mitchell Clout on the bench. We've got 3 first teamers who are under 20. They are Sifuentes, Debenham, and also Carly. So if we take 2 of those guys off, we will need to bring on Mitchell Clout with 1 of those subs for them. But to be fair, I think Sifuentes in goal, we should be safe with that. And hopefully that just means that we're going to keep up our under 20 quota in this game. But a good early chance here. Ciardiello makes his way down the left-hand side. Nice ball out there. Thomas in a bit of open space. Chronopolis there made a bit of a meal of that. Did look like a pretty average attempt, but thankfully we get a chance here from set piece. Hopefully can make the most of it. We nearly do. Anderson plays that one back nicely to Lorenzo Janssen, but unfortunately that shot goes well wide of the target. Early stages, we're on the front foot there, but still 0-0. But off the back of that, there is a goal kick here. Chronopolis pumps that one deep. Janssen wins it in the air. Khaled plays that one out there to Harrison Debenham. So far, our best youth and take play with Peg come through here at Cashmere Tech. But to be fair, I think the best one overall still is Michael Cornelis. Yeah, we were on the attack there. Bit of a block cross that did get played, and I think it was there from Xavier Smith just coming back from an injury. Decent chance there again to Ciardiello, but unfortunately that one clips the crossbar. Still 0-0. Only a few minutes later, there is a free kick. That one comes off the woodwork from Janssen, but Ciardiello will square it nicely for Ezra Zumas, and Easy will pick up yet another goal for the Australian to make it 1-0. We've been all over them so far here, Western Suburbs. Thankfully, it eventually pays off. That one did have Chronopolis beaten, came off the woodwork. Thankfully, Ciardiello, who's had a couple of chances in those first couple of highlights, squares it nicely, and the Australian puts it away to put us 1-0 in front. And only a few minutes on from the opening goal, now it's a free kick here in our favour, looking there for Zumas inside the box. That one was a bit of a floated header. Unfortunately, just didn't quite dip enough there to beat Chronopolis, and I was about to praise off the back of that, because so far we've been all over Western Suburbs, but we won't do it until we see this highlight at the 15-minute mark. Ryan Billingsley back from all whites duty, as is Louis Evans. Plays that one forward to Debenham down that right-hand side. Plays that one in there for Carly. Gets taken out from behind. No foul, but thankfully Ryan Billingsley is back there to tidy things up. Plays that one across there to Tim Anderson and Clark. Pings that one out nicely to Ciardiello. Thankfully, that one did beat Villarreal. And it's a lovely finish again from Easy Ezra Zumas. That is shotgun from him. He makes it 2-0. And already we are looking a pretty good touch here yet again in a big game against the best team from the Central League. Clark there for to Ciardiello. First time pass as well to find Zumas. Thankfully, that ball did find its way on. It did look like that Villarreal could intercept it. Thankfully, that was not the case. Quick fire double. We go 2-0 in front. And just before the half hour mark, we get the next highlight in this grand final. So far, Western Suburbs yet to fire a single shot. So definitely on the front foot. Hopefully can make the most of their timidness and maybe grab one more to put this game to bed in this next highlight that we are seeing. And we make our way forward here. Zumas already is on a hat-trick. Plays out to Ciardiello. Goes back there though to our centre-back and Anderson before going forward yet again to the Italian. Back to Anderson now. Smith lurking out there on the left-hand side. Anderson gets the ball back. It's a long highlight. Hopefully that does mean it might result in something. We eventually switch this one out now right. Khaled picks out Debenham in a fair bit of space. Squares that one nicely for Chronopolis with a very average Jordan Pickford-like attempt there in goal. But in the end, it falls out to Ciardiello, and it's a goal. That's some really average work there from the Western Suburbs goalkeeper. And they are in a world of hurt here in their hometown in this grand final. Boy, that's some average work. To be fair, I do think that's actually come off the post. Not the goalkeeper, but still, he looked all sorts of confused by that one. Falls quite nicely for our Italian left winger. He's now got a goal and 2 assists. 3-0 up late in the first half. And it looks like that might be all the action for the first half of this National League Championship Grand Final this season. Western Suburbs with not a single shot. We have been all over them and going to the sheds with a 3-0 lead. To be fair, 2 of those goals quite fortunate. The woodwork did help us out. That first one to Zumas and also that most recent one to Ciardiello. We're going to take off Louis Evans here with that yellow card. With a 3-goal lead, no risk needed. Tristan Turner can come on for him, but very happy with how this one's going. Just need to not bottle it, and we'll be the champions yet again. And just about to make our way into the last 20 minutes of this game, and much like the two that we played in yesterday's episode, the second half of this one has not been up too much, but I think it's time to get some players off the bench. A bit of a rating, so we're going to bring on here Tori now, I think, not Cloud, because of course Zumas is on a hat-trick, so unfortunately Mitchell might have to stay on the bench today, but Wally Khaled, let's give him a rest. Well, he's not playing well, he's been brilliant for us this season. Now can come on for him, and also probably smart to take off Smith for Diop Singh as he's coming back from injury, but we're still 3-0 in front, albeit Western Suburbs in the second half are actually getting some shots off the back of that. There is a free kick in our favour, eventually gets played in there, back to Sam Clark across there for Ryan Billingsley. Anderson with a long-range effort against his former team, but that one goes well over the bar. 3-0 as we make our way to the last 10 minutes of this final. And just about to make our way into the last 5 minutes of this game, definitely going to be lifting the National League title yet again, albeit poor giveaway there, and Western Suburbs will just keep that one. They nearly give it back to us, but unfortunately we head that one back out there to Thomas down their left-hand side. Now Tiffany plays that one back forward to him, looping ball over the top. Diop should deal with that one. He gets an assist, which is good work off the bench, but it's for the wrong team because Downey scores that one for Western Suburbs, but thankfully that should just be a consolation goal, so maybe taking off Smith was not the best idea, but coming back from injury, did think that maybe we should make sure he doesn't pick up another one, albeit now that I think about it, last game of the season, probably shouldn't have worried about that. To be fair also, it's going to be Xavier Smith's last game here at Cashmere Tech. He sneakily signed for another team for the start of next season, but thankfully, if we want him, he has now qualified to play for the All Whites. Definitely need to change things up at left back going in to next season, but that does mean that Western Suburbs have scored a goal, but to be fair, they haven't done too much to deserve a goal. We play a nice ball there for Zumas, looking for a hat-trick, but in the end, doesn't matter, he missed it, because he would have been offside anyway. He's going to be here 3 minutes of added time. Western Suburbs have tried to do something in the second half, but really, that first half killed them. Late highlight here in their favour. Corner, a block on that shot from Cogman at the near post. If they grabbed that one, that would have made things interesting, albeit we are already over referees added time, so I dare say would have been a case still of too little too late. But again, just sort of slicking off here in the second half of a game. They go out there to Villarreal on the edge of the box, float that one into the mix. So thankfully Diop will head that one away, and that will be all she wrote. Of course, in this game, there's no trophy left for the grand final, but to be fair, we've seen plenty of trophy lifts this season here at Cashmere Tech. Very dominant in the first half. Second half, a little bit average, but Zuma's got a double, and CR Diallo off the back of 2 assists. He picks up a goal himself. They pulled one back in the second half, but in the end, it was just a consolation goal, and we win yet again over Western Suburbs this season and pick up the National League Championship for a 7th season off the back of a 3-1 win in the final. So you did another National League trophy for us here at Cashmere Technical, and to be fair, also a perfect season. Never really felt like that wasn't going to be the case. We've been very dominant this season, so let's hopefully continue that on in this save. But to be fair, that's been going on now for quite a while. Hopefully next time there's a Club World Cup, we'll be the team going. But here's the team of the year for the New Zealand National League. We've got lots of players in this one. Josh Hawkins in goal, because of course we didn't bring in Sifuentes until about halfway through the season. The entire back four are our players now starting for the season, in Smith, Billingsley, Anderson and Debenham. Also CR Diallo at left wing and Khaled at right wing. Now I said actually, we only brought in Billingsley late, so that's a bit surprising. He's made it in, whereas Sifuentes has not. But also, Ezra Zuma's up top alongside Ukic, and the other 2 players not from us are both from Wellington Olympic, which is a bit surprising considering those guys didn't even qualify for the National League Championship. Coveney and Burton represent them in midfield, but that's a team they're completely dominated by Cashmere Tech, as you would expect, with Castro, Janssen and McGoldrick on the bench. And we have also got our budgets for next season, £46,000 a week. Now, to be fair, that is an increase because we were previously just over our wage budget. That is not now the case. We've got £3,000 spare going into next season and a transfer budget of only £29,000. To be fair, quite a bit of interest in our players, and some of them I'd consider moving on, the likes of maybe even Tim Anderson. Hasn't been here for too long, but it probably benefits him going to an A-League club. Also, Louis Evans, we probably should let him go to try and develop a bit more as a first-choice All Whites ball wing midfielder. Not necessarily going to sell the players who are not New Zealanders yet, so I don't think any of the others there with wanted symbols will be going. But Josh Hawkins down in our reserves might be another player we consider letting go of now. We've got Sifuentes as an under-20 option for the next couple of seasons. He's wanted by AFC Auckland and South Melbourne, so maybe we can help out there, our former club. And also the other one we might consider selling is Henrik Fries, these days a New Zealander. He's wanted by Sydney Olympic, also in the A-League. So a couple of players there we could consider selling, considering that I think some of them will be better off at some slightly high reputation clubs in some high reputation leagues. And also, to be fair, Hawkins and Fries not getting too much game time here at Cashmere Tech, and they could both be future All Whites options. That could bump up our transfer budget going into the start of next season, but it's a small one going into 2036. And we're going to wrap up today's episode by this season going through the end of season review. Didn't get one of these last year for some reason. This time around we do get again. We picked up all the trophies, and again the OFC Champions League disappears from that graphic. But 5 trophies we picked up here this season at Cashmere Tech. The new arrivals and the signing of the season. Drum roll, that does go to Ezra Zumas on a free previously of the Brisbane Roar. Only played 14 games, but 16 goals and 2 assists. That is a very good output for Tim Anderson. Might get that one, having made 30 appearances, pretty much played every game for us this season at Cashmere Tech, but he misses out to the Australian striker, who hopefully we might convince in a few years' time to make the switch from the Socceroos to the All Whites, and he doesn't go stupid like Max Caputo did. Also decent this season, Marco Corona, albeit not too many games. Ryan Billingsley and Sifuentes. Mitchell Clout was solid, definitely one though for the future. At only 17 years old in these days, he does have a face as well. Things you love to see. Transfers out. These are the players we got rid of. Some of them for some pretty good money, but in the end, we got by fine without them. And I dare say some of them might be better off overseas in terms of their development for potentially being some All Whites options in the future. The 2 annoying ones, I suppose, were Kevin Mina and Mansell Dossau, but the fees were too good to turn down without upsetting them and making them bring down the morale at the club. So those are the players that we did sign and sell in 2035. Going forward to the season's results, we won every single game. So yeah, we won every single trophy. Not too sure what else we're supposed to say about this. It was very, very easy work. Even that Champions League final over Auckland City, 6-0, that was a pumping. Chatham Cup final, that was a pumping. To be fair, closest games in that competition were against Wanaka and Lower Hutt. And the Charity Cup, that was a bit closer at the start of the season, but won that relatively easily as well. So we picked up all 5 trophies this season: the Southern League, the Champions League, the Chatham Cup, Charity Cup, and of course that grand final in the National League. As you just saw, going forward, the moments to remember: our biggest win, 8-0 over Lossie in the Champions League. Match to remember for some reason, a 7-0 win on the birthday over Selwyn. So I suppose that might be the reason that we remember that one, because otherwise, not too sure. And goal of the season did come in that last league game before the game we played in today's episode. It was against Christchurch United, and it was scored by Sam Clark. And here it is. Here we have the ball down the left-hand side. Here we did start Henrik Fries in this game because Ciardiello was on a yellow card, and Clark there with an absolute rocket right from the edge of the box. To be fair, that is a very good goal, a deserving one for goal of the season in that 5-3 win. Looking at the stats again there, don't ask me how Christchurch United scored 3 goals with only 4 shots on target, but thankfully we scored 5 and picked up a win. Perfect season and all that. Going forward to the finances, all these go up. Unfortunately, still only a 2-star reputation club because we need to go to a Club World Cup, or just the league is just going to hold us back in terms of that reputation. The top shirt sellers, Zoomers came in late and picked that up. Billingsley, Ciardiello, Johnson and Evans also sold a fair bit of merch. Going forward to our best 11 for the season. Hawkins in goal, of course, did start most of the games before Sifuentes did come in. As you'd expect, the back 4 from that National League team this season are the back 4 for our club team of the season. The defensive midfielders, but interestingly, no Louis Evans. It's Sam Clark paired up there with Tristan Turner. Obviously, the wingers, they're going to be Ciardiello and Carlian, who does look like an absolute shoo-in, the player of the season, with 21 assists and 28 goals. Mahamadou in central attacking midfield is a bit interesting. Apparently, Lorenzo Janssen did not deserve that spot, even though that bloke got sold about halfway through the season. And Juan Carlos Castro is up front. because he did score 24 goals. His resumers couldn't quite do that in his limited time here at the club, but no doubt he'll be there next season going forward to the accolades. Lots of these this season. We picked up Manager of the Year in terms of the National League, but as I predicted, Waleed Khalid dominates this one, both the Flames Player of the Season and the Young Player of the Season, with an 8.4 average rating, just going down a bit further. Also top goal scorer and the most assists and the most man of the matches and the highest average rating. Don't really care too much about most passes per 90, but that did go to Ryan Billingsley. It's a DJ Khalid clean sweep there in terms of the awards that popped out there. Competition awards, he also picked up a few of these, the Chatham Cup Golden Boot and the National League Player of the Year, Juan Carlos Castro, Champions League top goal scorer, and the Young Player of the Year for the National League, our youth intake product from last year, and Harrison Debenham. So that's a bit of a cool one, but also record breakers. Khalid got a few of those, most man of the matches in a season, and most assists by a player in a season, with 21 in the end. Didn't get anywhere near close to that record of Castro's from a couple of seasons ago, with 40 odd goals or whatever it was. Most league appearances by a player for the club now is Josh Hawkins at 143. The most league goals, though, is Lorenzo Janssen with 74. And our youngest ever goal scorer, Mitchell Clout, back when he was a 16-year-old and going forward to history in the making. Superb season, because we won every game and every trophy. Because of that, and going over to the manager timeline, let's just go back and see where this picks up from. It will be there from the signing of Louis Carosa. We did move in to a new stadium named after their beloved manager, yours truly. McDonald has now got the most goals for New Zealand with 64. Josh Hawkins, as you saw before, broke the appearance record for Cashmere Tech. We picked up the Champions League. Castro, new record for goals in a single season. Lorenzo Janssen scored a 66 goal for the club, which does make him the all-time leading goal scorer here. Marko Stamenic, now the most capped forward. Of course, that did happen back in that June international window. And then we picked up lots of trophies and also picked up a bunch of awards at the end of the season. So that's the end of the season review here for 2035 at Cashmere Technical. A quick look in terms of the overall best 11. Let's just go down to this and see if anyone did get inducted. Louis Evans is finally in there in that balling midfield role alongside Sam Clark. I don't think he was there last season, so that might be a bit of a change. Also, Josh Hawkins in goal. I think that's quite recent as well, but Waleed Khalid makes his way onto the bench. That is the other new addition from this year's squad, but that now has a lot more of our fingerprints over it. No more players in that starting 11 who were here when we got to the club, and we quickly sold. There's a couple on the bench, but that starting 11 these days are all players that we have worked with. But I think that will do it for this season of the Save 2035, and we go through it, completing a perfect season at Cashmere Tech, and also just do enough to sneak the All Whites into the top 30 of the world rankings. If you enjoyed this season and today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you did enjoy this season here on the channel and are still enjoying the series, and also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. If you haven't done so already, we'll come back start of next week as per usual, kick things off with the Champions League, and maybe could be some transfers if the interest is high enough in those players who we wanted that we did run through before. So until the start of next week for some OCL action. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.